Next thing is that can a newly formed company get funded? Now we are talking about working capital right now. Um, could be yes, could be no. So let's dive into it. When you are asking for working capital, now this type of loan, we are assuming there's no real estate associated with. There's no real estate attached to it. Okay. So when a company is asking for funding, the lender need to have some sort of collateral, right? We talk about a 5C. We need to what about the collateral. So in this case, the collateral is what? Is the cash flow of the company. So now if this company is a brand new company, which means that there's no cash flow, okay? So in that case, most lender would not fund what? Would not fund working capital. However, if a newly formed company are purchasing equipment, yes, in that case, then they will get funding because that equipment becomes what? Becomes the collateral for the lender. Okay. Also, let's say a client already running a bakery store. Now he set up a new company to open up a new bakery store. Can he get funding for it? Yes, in this case. It's just because he has the experience, he already have a bakery store, even though he set up a new company, but from the lender's perspective, that is an expansion of their business. They can use a different LLC to hold a different location. That's absolutely fine with that. So experience is very, very important. Now, if somebody's saying that, hey, I used to be an engineer working for Lockheed Martin, and now all of a sudden I retire, I want to open up a mechanic shop, most likely it's not going to work that way. And another situation is if the client get himself into franchise. Yes, in that case, the possibility for him to get funding is very high, even though it's a brand new company. Because franchise, they have it. If this is a SBA approved franchise, that means that they have good training program. So the lender does not worry about, you're not making money. So at the end of the day, the lender, what they wanted to see is, hey, how can you pay me back my $1 million that I lent to you? How can you guarantee me, right? So without any real estate, they're looking at experience. So experience is very, very important. So a newly formed company can it get funded? Yes or no? Now, however, if this property, not property, if this client it's purchasing a building, purchasing a building to open up a business, then yes, we can always fund him to purchase the building, but not the working capital if that client does not have any experience. So, for example, in today's market, we have a lot of foreigners coming into the United States to set up factories, to set up business, because they're already doing very good in their own country and now they want to expand into the United States. Absolutely fine. But because they do not have any history or any record to show that they have that kind of experience, we can only fund them to purchase the real estate. We cannot help them we cannot give them funding to working capital, for example, to fund the business. Okay. So that it's these questions. What is the rate and term?